That's right. We're back. The grind. Oh, the grind continues. I did the last one on these literally look at the size of my hand. Look at this little playing card. You can't even see. It's so difficult. I mean, I'm holding them. You can see just how tiny. This is my pinky finger. It's so hard to show with this. This is my pinky finger. It's like the size of I got these tiny little playing cards. I think I know who I got it from, but I don't really know. Just haven't opened them in a while. I opened it up, realized I lost 3 of them in the span of it. Well, I realized I lost 3, and I was like, I'm gonna stop procrastinating and do it. And so I did it, and I subsequently cut out pieces of paper and drew. These were the ones that I was missing. Drew tiny, like when I say that, like literally that you can't even see it probably on the screen. This right here. Draw 8 little hearts, 8 little clubs, some spades. It was tough. And then I cut them all exactly how I wanted it. And I put them all into their boxes, and it all spilled a couple times. It was really relaxing. I won't lie, it was a very enjoyable little activity. I digress. Let's do this thing. So, last time, we're just gonna keep going with this. We might have 2 sections because I like the way that I'm breaking down each little part. So, the next part was on intention. Then from intention is going to go 2:30. Okay. Family of 4. I'm just gonna take this with me. Family of 4. Then from there, it's going to be on parents' values. And then from there will be warm glow. And that's going to be another episode of have no space, have all open space over here, completely. Like warm glow itself, that concept, I have like a 4-page document on 7 different research articles I have. It's gonna be a lot on this side. Let's just do it though. Let's just do it. Starting with intention. So, the last thing that I was talking about was my interpretation, right? We have to believe we're good, otherwise we'll realize we're not. And as harsh as that statement is, it goes perfectly into the idea of what intention is, right? We have the interpersonal definition or interpersonal conflict, I'll say, with intention, and that is action versus intention. Right? We'll put example of action. We'll use something as simple as Jessica, right? Pick a random one, doesn't really matter. Say Jessica, giving $2 to someone on the street, right? It's actually perfect if we use all the past 5 examples. Oh, I forgot the guy thing. Did I write it down? Give me a second. Let me put a pause on this, because if I didn't, I would love to wrap that up at some point during this. I didn't. I gotta remind myself, when roommate walks to the door, I'm gonna ask her, because I do want to finish that. But Jessica and the $2, right? What's the action? Sorry, this is a little There's a lot of little lines I'm putting. With Jessica and the $2, I'm not gonna write Jess, come on. Jessica, and $2. Jessica, $2. Action is on the fact that the action is the literal act itself. It is the objective action is her handing money. Versus the intention, which is why she handed money. And this is the interpersonal, right? Human, people to people connection. Right? Maybe she did it because she really, really relates to someone who has lived on the street before. Maybe she's someone who has lived on the street before and knows that $2 doesn't seem much, could be a lie. Maybe it's someone who just didn't want change in her pocket. You have no idea what the intention was with Jessica. You just all decided that it was a selfless act regardless. Right? We'll keep going. And this could be used multitude of examples. You think of the guy doing that one action for the girl. You think of what did I use? Tony, who goes to the soup kitchen. The action, going to the soup kitchen. The intention of why he goes to the soup kitchen. Maybe he has a crush on someone. Maybe he's trying to impress someone. Maybe his boss is there. Maybe he's just he really wants to help people in those situations because his heart hurts whenever he sees people who don't go to soup kitchens. You have no idea. But that's the interpersonal idea of action versus intention. Now, intrapersonal, and we'll try to make space for this. Intrapersonal. And you see what I'm doing right now is the, and then here, use other examples. Exam from before. I'm speaking a lot. Nothing's really congruent. The state of matter, the fact moments. I think that comes with time, I believe, in speaking. You just kind of stutter and stamble your way through it versus off rip. You're just able to confidently, eloquently speak. That's why I'm doing this. I'm practicing. So, intrapersonal, not person to person, but rather person to person. I like that. It's the fight with yourself, and within this fight is conscious versus subconscious intention. Now, this one's very simple. We'll go back to the example as before. Jessica, $2. The conscious version, and I'm gonna highlight the keywords I'm using there. Conscious is intention from before. Right? Whether Jessica did it because they relate to it, whether they just didn't want change in their pocket, their boss was watching this, that, anything else in between. It's exactly what that is before. That's what the conscious is. Because they're thinking of it. It's the conscious decisions versus the unconscious. And this is what we're really going to deep dive into a little bit later. The unconscious decisions is I'm trying to phrase this delicately. Your unconscious decision, your sorry, it's unconscious, your subconscious decision is, I don't want to say your true reasoning behind doing a lot of things, because when you think about it, there's a lot of things that you do consciously that you don't exactly know why you do them, right? I might cower when I hear a really loud motorcycle, but I don't exactly know why. I haven't gotten down to that subconscious understanding of why that sound triggers that effect on me, right? Some people do. Some people have that link to exactly why this thing affects them in this way. I mean, kind of therapy is that gap, but the subconscious, I don't want to say is the like objective answer for everything exactly. I think in life, kind of there just are some things like you don't exactly know what a spider is before you're shown or told about a spider. But if you saw a spider before that, some people are okay with it, some people freak out. So it's like this, it's not the objective truth, but more of uh, I'm trying to think of what's the right way of saying that. It's the subconscious is it's every thought process that isn't conscious. I mean, it's kind of a stupid way of saying it. If it's not A, it's B, but it's the truth. I mean, every thought that you are not realizing, if you don't realize why you're doing the things, then that's where it exists. Those reasonings are in the subconscious, right? Uh, Subconscious is, in this example, it is her, it's her intention when she doesn't know why. Intention when she doesn't know why she did what she did. Like there, when you don't know, that's where if it's not in the conscious, it's in the subconscious. But I feel like there's a better way of phrasing this. The subconscious in this scenario uh, is why Jessica gave the $2 when she doesn't exactly know why. I think, okay, I got this. Subconscious is the why when she doesn't know why. Is uh, the explanation, the reasoning, just sitting on all my clothes, little freak. Uh, is the reasoning when she doesn't know why. And so this is going to, remember for later, we're going to get into this a little bit later. But first, because this is essentially the philosophical, psychological, physiological theory behind warm glow, which I'm going, and I did a lot of research on it before, but warm glow is the subconscious intentions behind our actions, right? It's the intrapersonal battle we almost have with ourselves into trying to understand, trying to get that conscious understanding, right? Trying to figure out why we did those things because we did them, and maybe it's better if I'll explain it probably more later in the warm glow and then come back over here. But we did something. Jessica gave $2. That's an action. She put brain neurons in her brain to send down to her heart, to send down to put blood pumping into her arms and hands, to reach into her pocket, to look over at someone who's sitting on the sidewalk and hand them $2. Right? That was the action. The intention of why she did it, she might have a conscious reason for it. Right? She might say, this is why I was on the street before. I know that $2 doesn't seem like much, but I know it does help people right there, right then. There also could possibly exist, hence why warm glow is a theory, a subconscious intention. Maybe there was another underlying reason why she did that action. And that is where the speech comes into the real topic of selflessness. Is there a subconscious intention that we are all following day to day without even realizing? I mean, it's subconscious. We never think about it, but we do these actions, we have these intentions, we have these justifications in our consciousness as our subconscious intentions. It's from the first speech to this speech, it's a bit heavy. It's a bit dense, maybe a better word. But I like dense stuff. I don't like easy stuff. I mean, the other one was what? Morality, the idea of like the subjective, objective, subjective. This one's backed up by a lot more science. I didn't use next to any research for last one. So, I'm gonna stop yapping. We're gonna get into family of four. We have a beautiful family of four. Now, this one, really big emphasis is paint a picture. I will say, bragging wise, I am not a bad storyteller, right? I like improvisational games, little things with friends, stuff like this. Nothing very official. I don't think I could go on stage for improv, but creating up random scenarios, stories, characters, stuff like this, I have a lot of fun with. It's kind of like lying with no consequences. It's pretty fun. You should try it sometime. It's a lot of fun. So, because of that, and what I haven't really explored, I guess, is the idea of really creating creating an improvisational story that has a specific moral or lesson. I mean, it's creating regardless. I mostly just do it for the sake of shits and giggles, but for this, I need to really get people both into the story, but also keep it relevant to. I mean, this is like the whole complication with my short film, because I love creating a story that's silly and funny. You can get into it, but also, there's just no end goal in mind. But then once you at least have an end goal, then that kind of like morphs everything about the story a little bit, so it matches that end goal or the overall purpose. So I guess we'll work at it in that way. I think it's really difficult to think about something with an end goal in mind because you just want to push it towards it. Kind of like how TV shows have several seasons. and you kind of know the ending already of like the end of the show, but you just have to push forward and you can create nuance, expectation switches, stuff like that from it. God, I do nothing but talk. All right, all that to say, I'm gonna just go for it, and then the end goal I already have in mind. Once I go for it, create the story, then from that end goal, we'll start to slowly morph the story. I want to introduce you all to the Smiths. I'm just gonna make up the last name. I never made up the last name till now, I just realized. There's 4 people in the Smiths. Let me just make sure I get their names. Okay. There are 4 people in this beautiful, let's start off simple. Let me introduce you to the Smiths. The Smiths are a pretty average, day-to-day, low to middle income husband and wife, right? Alex and Ryan Smith enjoy. I'm not doing this right. It's hard when you gotta like force it at the same time. Okay. Let's. If the best way to do it is just be silly, let's just be silly. Let me introduce you all to the Smiths. Now, the Smiths are just like me and Neil. They're actually exactly like me and Neil. I don't know what the fuck I'm going with that. Okay. Let me think. Because the idea is not to complicate their family lives, but rather the values that they want to instill, but maybe for the sake of action, perpetuating drama, we can add some elements into it. First thing I was thinking of, spies, spy kids. They literally have the family of 4 of exactly what I want. Try to steal the idea of Spy Kids. I kind of forgot the plot. There's like 4 of the movies, and I think the family changes a little bit, but let's just try. All right. Let me introduce, and then also, isn't The Smiths literally a movie about like, is it / a TV show about spies? I think it's subconsciously. I just realized where that thought process came from. I'll change the last name. What about the Addams family? What about the Borgs, the Porks, the dogs? Okay, just make up a random last name. Really does not matter. Something basic though. I don't want to complicate a last name. Mazel Tovs, the Jones, now. I'm trying to think of one that's like not super famous and people would associate with other stuff. The Bills, the selves, the shells, the Johns, ooh, the Bob Joes. I kind of like that name. Like Billy Bob Joe is, I don't know, like a very traditional, like South U.S. name, Billy Bob Joe, like a Southern type of thing. But the Bob Joes, so everybody's name would be like Adam Bob Joe, or like Nancy Bob Joe. I think that's a fun level of humor that actually would be perfect. That means I have to change the names to think of clever names. But let me tell you about the Bob Joes. Bob Joes with a simple life. Cowboy hat. Now it's all coming together. It just took a second. It's coming together. Cowboy hat, Southern drawl. rocking chair, all for story time. Yeah, yeah, it came together. I didn't know where it was, and I found it. Let me tell you all about the Bob Joes. Bob Joes, they live a simple, obedient life out there on the pastures. I gotta commit. That's one of the scary parts, though. If it's not good, it'll be bad. So I gotta commit. Uh, uh, Now, there's not much family with the Bob Joes. There's only a man and his wife, Johnny Bob Joe and Nancy Bob Joe. Johnny Bob Joe works perfect. Johnny Bob Joe, um, and uh, and Shelly Bob Joe. Johnny and Shelly Bob Joe. Johnny Bob Joe and Missy Bob Joe and Donnie Bob Joe. Don Bob Joe. Don Bob Joe. Don Bob Joe. John Bob Joe and Don Bob Joe. Johnny Bob Joe and Don Bob Joe. How about I like I don't know, something about Don got me. Alright. Don Bob Joe. Now they've been raising chicken babies. I feel like there's a name for those, but kind of forgot it in this current time and state. But it's actually almost better if I kind of improv where this is going and just have certain things similar to Curb Your Enthusiasm. Just letting it flow, but getting to those points. Now, Johnny Bob Joe, Don Bob Joe, they love each other very, very much. Don Bob Joe remembers the time they first met square dancing. Right in the middle of the street, downtown, he saw this weird, strange man square dancing, telling people to join him along. He was stopping traffic, he was getting in the way, but then they locked eyes, and she knew that was her man forever. Now, am I just gonna do this the whole time? It's so much funnier this way. It's funnier, and more than funnier, it gets me into it. I enjoy it. Maybe people might not enjoy it, but I feel like if I'm not enjoying it, it'll show. So I've got to enjoy it at the least. So Johnny and Don. It's hard to say almost. Uh, have been raising their baby chicks for the better part of 25 years. Living a nice, happy, solitudinal life. But they've been thinking, they've been talking, they've been discussing. And they're thinking they're ready for some kids. A couple little pups to add to their chick pan. I got good sleep. I'm not sleep deprived. I don't know. I just don't know where it comes from. I don't know where. Okay, we'll just keep going. Fuck it. So, a couple pups to their chick pen. I might keep that actually. That's really good. So so they are very happy to announce to their friends, and soon enough, they're very happy to announce to their friends and family they got some kids coming up. 2 are about to be expected in just a month. Now, I'll cut it off right here to tell you something important. Johnny Bob Joe, and Don Bob Joe grew up in very, very different states of life. Because of this, because of this, they have very different outcomes and ways they see the world, different values. Now, what's really important to them is making sure they have one thing that they pass down on to their children, right? And the one thing they want to pass down they want to pass down is that their children is that their kids aren't assholes. That's all they want. One simple wish for their children. They aren't assholes. They've seen a lot of assholes. They don't want to be an asshole. They don't want their kids to be assholes. Not on the farm, not in life. So, they're going. What's a good way of transitioning to the next point? Let's see how I put it. Because I know where I want to go next, but I want to make sure. I wrote based off real story. I'm just making this shit up. They have different. Okay. They want to make sure their kids ain't assholes. That's right. I've seen assholes. Let me tell you, they're assholes. I don't want those kids. They don't want those kids to be assholes. They never want to see any assholes on their farm, any assholes in life. See, there's just one small issue with this problem, with this one wish that they have, and that is that they, Bobby Don Joe, Don Bob Joe, such good names by the way, Bobby Don Joe. It's hard to say fast. Bobby Don Joe, Don Bob Joe. They have completely different sets of virtues. Bobby Don Joe. I'll write it down right over here, going into the parents' values right here. Oh, I'll use orange. Bobby Don Joe. We might need we're probably gonna push warm glow to the next one because that's like it's getting a lot over here. Yeah, we're just definitely gonna next one. All right. Bobby Bob Joe. How did I? Okay. Bobby Bob Joe. Let's start with Don. I feel like it's easier if we do it that way, actually. So we'll do first with Don Bob Joe, and then second with Bobby Bob Joe. Is it Bob Joe? Am I saying it right? Okay, Bob Joe. I feel like I've been saying it too much now. I don't want to get it wrong. So, Don Bob Joe believes that they are a good person, right? What's a better shorthand way of writing that? Believes good person. What I'm thinking of actually is making like a Dollar Tree kind of graph, have this line that I have right here, and then just rip off the thing. So but I'll make sure that this is like very succinct right now. So I'll write it out. So they believe they're a good person. Believes they are a good high tootin' person. They don't believe they're selfish. Um, okay. They now Dawn doesn't do anything like she doesn't give back or donate anything of that sort, but she doesn't believe that makes her a bad person. That makes her a bad person. Okay. It's kind of a Descartes-esque. It's kind of a Descartes-esque. I'm just gonna use my normal voice now. Fuck it. I'll do the voice in there, but for the sake of this, Jesus Christ, just. It's just fun to be funny, dog. All right, a Descartes-esque mentality. They think they're good, therefore they kind of are, right? I believe I'm a good person, therefore I am, right? Now, make one thing clear. Dawn has the opportunity. It's not that she's financially struggling. It's not that she needs to save her money for this or that. Even with her kids coming up, she's still able to provide for them and do things like donate and give stuff like this. She just doesn't. She believes she's good anyways, right? She's a good person. She doesn't need to do all this stuff to be a good person because she is. She is a good person. She believes she's a good person. She is a good person, right? And I'm saying that she is a good person in her standard. When she says to herself, I am a good person. Then we got Bobby. I got it. It's almost automatic now. We have Bobby. Bobby believes that all selfless acts are selfish. Are are selfish. And because of that, or therefore, him along with everybody else, there are no good people. And because of that, or therefore, they don't give, donate, anything like that. Essentially, he believes he's a bad person. I'm probably going to put that up on the top. Believes he's not a good person. Yeah, that's going to be on the top. It'll be juxtaposed to, am I using the word juxtaposed right? Like, in accordance with. That's what I'm thinking, juxtaposed. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Probably I'm an English teacher or something. It's similar. It's similar to the why make a bed mentality. Right? What's the point of making your bed if you're just going to dirty it up the next night? What's the point of donating to this cause when people are still not going to get better? What's the point of doing this if nothing will really change? It's the mentality he has. He believes that all these actions and what we do, well, actually, let me save this because I don't want to spoil the warm glow yet. So we'll start out with he believes he's not a good person. He doesn't believe in him. He just believes that there are no good people, and therefore he doesn't believe that there's any good people. And because there's no good people, himself included, why should he donate? Right? Other people don't donate. So why make a bet mentality? Why should I be subjected to be the only person to do these things when no one else does it? Why should he do it? Why should he do good when others do bad? And again, very clear. Has the opportunity. It's not that he's stuck like needing to do bad things. He could still do things like donate, stuff like that, just doesn't. So these two, I guess they have different, it's not that they have different virtues, they have different values, they have different mentalities, they have different ways of life. They have different ways of seeing life. I like values. How they value them, they have different self-values. I'm about to look up synonyms for values actually. Give me a second. Okay, they have different merits. They have different principles, ethics, moral standards. They have different codes of behavior. They have different principles. I like principles. Different principles. And so, because of these two things, they're really starting to question. The kids are already coming in a month. They're looking at each other, seeing each other fully with these different sets of principles that they both have laid out to each other. And it's nerve-wracking. They know that they are set in their ways. So how are their two kids going to see both these different views and also not be an asshole? Right? It's a very difficult, because both view each other in very different ways and different actions as being what an asshole is. And that's where we'll get into warm glow, right? This will be, I'm definitely thinking it might be a 45-minute speech, but we'll start with the warm glow. It's going to be a major, heavily researched topic of the idea of that theory that we presented. From there, we'll go back into the kids in their POV once they're old enough to see their parents, see their principles, and then have their own set of principles based on based on life, like kind of a, what do you call that? Nature versus nurture life. Then from there, showing their values, and then also kind of mixed in with the relations of the parents' values, uh, and uh, these and laying out all four different values, the four different sets of people, right? Um, and the grain of salt. I'm just naming this the next step that we'll be doing. The grain of salt that will be with it. The reality is, there are four different people. Principally, yeah, I think that's a word. Principally, sounds weird though. There's four different people. They're a family. They're the Bob Joes, but they have completely different ways they view the world, and they're happy with it. They live their life up on the farm. They raise their little chicks, are all grown to big chickens. I don't know what chickens, hens maybe. I don't know. But and they're happily living their life, right? That's the idea of it. These four different ways of life, I'm not saying are wrong in any standard, as you can't say any life or way of living is right or wrong, right? Don and Bobby Joe, Bob Joe, love each other very much. The kids love their parents, the parents love their kids. That's the way they live their life, right? But if there was one lesson is to look at the kids and see their point of view. See that I said 2 and 3, but the emphasis is really on the fact that they try. Even though someone believes they're a bad person, even if someone believes they're a good person, they still try. Right? And that is the end of the speech. For selflessness. Selflessness, I don't believe exists. I'm with one of the kids, I'll say at that point, I'm one of them. I'm like in that same mentality, but I still try. And that should be the lesson. If you believe you're good, if you don't believe you're good, you should still try. I digress. The speech isn't for anything more than kind of just getting my points off of you. It turned into a much bigger thing, hence why it's been over a month easily. And so can you see the spider bite? Oh my gosh, that's so bad. You definitely can. Second spider bite, baby. One's on my tailbone right there. It's very itchy right now. So gross. But I have cream and stuff, antibiotics I'll take. God, look how, it's huge on the camera. Okay, Captain Crunch, I don't know, laying in the sun. I don't know, he's laying on all my clothes still. He's so sleepy. This should be good. I'm gonna start next time, warm glow, kids POV, and then their values, grain of salt. Should be good. And I don't think there's an appropriate way to